Good morning, everyone. So today, let's keep working on a lead code quiz. This is a hard problem. Let's switch it to another one. Okay, this one is a medium one. And so the question is sort characters by frequency. Given a string, sort it in descending order based on the frequency of the characters. The frequency of a character is the number of times it appears in the string. Return the sorted string. If there are multiple answers, return any of them. Okay, let's have a look at the three examples given here. So input is tree. The output will be EERT. Okay. The second example is CCCAA. The output is AACC. Okay, so it's only depend on the frequency of characters. Then I think that we can directly use the sort built-in function, right? The third example, input is AABB. The output is AABBAA. Okay. Uppercase and lowercase are treated as different characters. Okay. So again, let's try to think about a test case. Let's say the input is S is A, B, B, C, D, E, E. Okay. Let's get an input. So the first step is we need to know the length of the whole string, right? In this case, n is 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 9, 11. It's 15. And then we need to do what? We need to use a counter to get a dictionary, right? So which means frequency map will be how many times of each characters will have show up. So A, T is A, value is 3. A is B, value is 2. A is C, value is 1. A is D, value is 1. K is C, A, B, C, D. K is E, value is 2. K is F, value is 2. K is G, value is 4. Okay. Then let's to initialize a list of 16 empty lists to store these values. So create a buckets. And the buckets is an empty list for everything in the range, so that we can put each letter in the empty buckets we created, right? Okay, now we start, place characters into the Uppercase by their frequency. So place characters into buckets by their frequency. So how to do that? Well, we need to put the with highest first. Right? We will put the key which has the highest value into the buckets. Make sense? Then similar things we done for B, right? And for C, right? So basically, we just put everything in the buckets. And now imagine in these buckets, every letters which have the same sequence has been put together. Make sense? And then now we need to, iterate I from n to 1, right? To connect bucket entries. So which means now we will get A, BB, EE, FF, C, D. Right? Because A has the longest, it's 3. The value is 3, right? And then what do we need to do? Then we join those parts, right? Then we get a result is GGGG, right? AAA, BBB, EE, FF, CD. Make sense? So based on this specific case, okay, so our input is a string, our return parameter is a string as well. So firstly, we need to, as I mentioned, right, we use a counter to create a map. Then we need to get the length of the whole string so that we know how many parameters here. And then we create a empty bucket. So this bucket will be used to store the sorted characters. Let's get a counter, right? So when n is smaller than I is smaller than n, what do we do? We will put the counter. We'll put the empty list in the counter, right? Because the buckets, the element, every element in this list is a list itself. So let's put the empty list here. And we increment our counter, right? So now we have all the counters we need, or all the empty list we need. And for char and efficacy in the map, right? It's a key and a value. What do we do? Firstly, we need to create a string. Right? How many times it appears. And then we put it in the list. Right? For example, if let's say AAA, it appears for 3 times. So we will put the buckets. The bucket number is 3. So we just put it in the buckets. And yeah. So after we put everything here, then we create an empty list to put everything together. Make sense? So you put everything together. We start from the maximum frequency, right? And while current is larger than 1, we start to put everything together. So bucket list will be buckets current. Okay, put the current buckets into the list. And we need to have an internal index j. So while j is smaller than the length of the bucket, what do we do? Put each part together. Right? And then what we need to do? Increase the counter. Right? After we put every elements, after we put the parts into the result, we reduce the frequency. And the final result is what? Is we put everything together, right? So this is a string. And we use the built-in method join. Join what? Join the parts, right? Because we already put different parts into this empty list. So now we want to join them together to have a string, right? Then we return the final results. Let's try it first. Okay. Why no? Oh. Hard. Okay. RT is not output. Okay, which means that we don't join every part together. Let's see what's wrong. We only join out the first part. So let's see. We chart frequency in the map, repeated, multiple frequency, bucket, append. Then we create a empty list path. Current is n. Oh yeah. The current should be larger and equal to n. Now it should work because just now we ignore the light which appear just one time. Let's try it. Yeah, I think this question is pretty straightforward. Although I get a pretty bad time complexity. It's ON. Also, I get a bad space complexity is also ON. But yeah, at this moment, I haven't reached the stage to think about how to optimize the code. I just want to solve this question. Yeah, that's pretty much for today. Today is a simple one. Well, I cannot say simple. I should say today the logic is more straightforward. Okay, thank you everyone. Bye.